In the spirit of some good news that I think we can all use right now, Sam Raimi has officially been declared the director of Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. I think this is some great news. Let's talk a little bit about Sam Raimi and what we might be able to expect from this film. Hey everyone, this is Perch. It had been rumored for some time that Sam Raimi was going to be involved, at least in some capacity, and many were speculating as a director, for Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which he was rumored to take over from Scott Derrickson, who dropped out of Doctor Strange. He was the director for the first film, and which largely, Doctor Strange is a movie that, at least within Marvel Studios and kind of critically, was seen as one of the stronger films of the Phase 2, Phase 3. I forget now where Doctor Strange fit. I think Phase 3. At any rate, Doctor Strange was a character in a movie that Disney were at least planning to build as kind of the tentpole of Marvel Phase 4. We have a new Black Panther and a new Captain Marvel movie, which Disney certainly are expecting to make lots of money, but those are kind of slated to be a little bit later on. It's expected, at least from what I've heard from movie reports and people, that Black Panther certainly wants to move along the bigger narrative of the Marvel Universe and what might be a Phase 5, Phase 6. Captain Marvel wanted to do a little bit more to kind of flesh out the character and do more there. But that Doctor Strange, and in particular the Multiverse of Madness, was really going to open up some new tools for the multiverse, for some of these characters, for where a lot of things are going to go in a post-Thanos kind of world. It's definitely supposed to come out after the WandaVision, Scarlet Witch Vision show for Disney+. It's going to star Scarlet Witch. There's been a ton of rumors around the film, which we'll get into in a second, around everybody that's supposed to guest star and potentially appear, and including some actors from former Marvel films. So it's looking to be a pretty big film. Scott Derrickson was well liked by Disney by and large. I think that they felt he was going to do well, and so Sam Raimi comes into the picture and was going to help with the film. But now officially today, he's going to actually direct. So I think this is great news on a few different positions. I think Sam Raimi is a good director. I think he's a good writer. I think he's got a good eye for kind of not campy horror. I mean, this is a guy who did the Evil Dead films, but Army of Darkness, so on. A lot of people, at least in the comic world, remember him as the gentleman who did Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, which in terms of Marvel films for that 2000 era, comic book films, I should say, it was one of the highlights of the kind of the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, kind of that era of movies where there was a lot of junk that was coming out, and Spider-Man was taken seriously. Whether or not you like Tobey Maguire or not, it was certainly seen as one of Marvel's successful approaches prior to all the money they made off the current MCU. We'll forget about Oz and the Great and Powerful and everything. But Sam Raimi is also a big fan of comics. He loved Doctor Strange as a kid. He's always been a fan of, he lists his favorites: Batman, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange is kind of his characters he likes. So I do think having somebody come in with a deep appreciation for the character and everything that could be done, I think that's good news. And I think Marvel, as a studio house, needs more directors with some different styles. And Sam Raimi has a very unique and original style to how he does films. And I think that's a big plus for Marvel, where the films all feel like they have the same formula. A lot of things are starting to blend together. Again, lots of people love the Marvel films and certainly made a lot of money. So you might argue, why would you want to mess with that formula? But if they're going to grow this franchise and kind of look into this new phase, post Avengers, of what Marvel films are like, you're going to need to have more change, more diversification of styles about what the film's going to be. So Sam Raimi, interesting choice, probably a very positive choice for that character. And now we get into at least some of the rumors for the importance of the film. Now, when it comes to guest stars in the film, one of the only things that we feel like is at least probably a little bit more of a lock is Nightmare is appeared to at least be one of the villains or to be part of the film. But we've also heard names like Keanu Reeves, who we know is being tapped to do some level of Marvel project at some point, may come in and be part of the film. We know that there's a pretty large amount of Marvel characters that people are saying are going to be in the film. We don't know how much. We have heard that Vision and Scarlet Witch, certainly more Scarlet Witch, will definitely be in the film. But we've also heard a lot of cameos from previous Marvel films, and everything from Black Widow showing back up again to Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan. We've heard Michael Rooker. We've heard a lot of different people as being able to come in either in a flashback sequence or as part of this multiverse, seeing other worlds. So there's a lot in here in terms of other characters. We've also heard that there was a rumor, at least, of the first appearance of the Punisher, of America Chavez, of Abigail Brand, that Loki would be returning, and at least some were speculating that this was going to provide some either post-credit sequence or some tease to the Fantastic Four, and this might be the way that they would come in and do it. None of this stuff has been confirmed at all, and there's also been, I guess, a play that we could see characters that are tying together kind of the broader Marvel picture. So I don't believe this for a second, but Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, Nick Cage as Ghost Rider is kind of this alternate vision of what it could be like, this alternate universe. There's at least some belief, and there's been some public statements that say that the Into the Spider-Verse, talking about the multiverse of other Spider characters and everything else that Sony did as part of the animated film that they did, that they wanted to tap into at least some of that with that same kind of spirit, or that same kind of, the world is bigger and all these different alternate realities. And so you could get to see some different parts of the world. I think the only thing that we are relatively positive of is that somewhere in the film, Bruce Campbell will make an appearance. I mean, he's got to. Bruce Campbell has been tied to Sam Raimi in nearly every film, and so it makes sense that he'd been snuck in there somewhere. Somebody was saying this is unlikely because Bruce Campbell's a name, and Marvel doesn't like to put in actors just kind of in the background. While that's true, I think that, they pulled it off for Guardians of the Galaxy. They've certainly done cameos in the past, and it's hard to imagine a Sam Raimi film that does not have Bruce Campbell. But at any rate, things are kind of all over the map. We do not know a lot about the film. Like I said, we have more or less confirmed that Nightmare will be either a main character, main villain, or the main villain, but definitely a key part of it. We've been hearing that there's a lot of potential tie-ins from different characters and other things. What we're sure of is that the MCU does plan to use this film to spring kind of a big driving plot for other films. So whatever we're leading up to, whatever this big plan that Kevin Feige's had and has very tight-lipped about, much like in the previous films, you had Thanos and you had the Infinity Gauntlet and you had all of that as a kind of a driving factor or something. We're expected to at least get the beginnings of this in this film. So the fact that we've got Sam Raimi tapped to do it also seems to indicate that maybe Sam Raimi's going to have a bigger role in this movie than, just this movie. That maybe if they are going to introduce other concepts in the Marvel Universe, they need some other people to come in and play ball, that Sam Raimi's not the worst person in the world to do that. So a lot going on here, a lot that could happen. Definitely the film has been delayed now and was originally supposed to, I believe, start filming now or right about now, but that's definitely going to push it back. I believe our current date is November of 2021 is when we're thinking that this is going to happen. So we will see. At any rate, it's definitely a movie to keep track of. It is nice news that Sam Raimi is confirmed to be a part of the film, and we'll see where it all goes from here. Comments, speculation, crazy ideas, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Would love to know your thoughts. Are you looking forward to the film? Could you care less? What do you think of Sam Raimi as a director? Anxious to hear what you have to think. Like, subscribe. I'll keep bringing various bits of news to you. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch, and thanks for listening.